welcome to another episode of the Menopause Walk of Fame. It's going to be the same path I took you on the other day, but a whole new topic. On the Walk of Fame, I look at all the things that I wish my mother had told me, or my granny, or somebody had told me to prepare me for the whole aging process. In this video, I'm going to talk about what I did, and it's radical. I did something very radical in my late 40s. And I tell you what, it changed the trajectory of how I aged. It is why at 58, I was able to write my first novel, a metaphysical adventure. The hardest creative thing I've ever done is write a book. But I was able to write this award-winning book with no training in writing. I am not a writer. You know, that is not something I ever aced in school or was even interested in. But I wrote this novel. Then at 62, I wrote a second novel. And at 63, I started the Rebel Crone YouTube channel. And here I am today. I am accomplishing and doing things that I never dreamed of possible when I was younger. In fact, it is amazing to me the abilities I have now to actually create things, create incredible, powerful things. But this is how it started, and this is what I want to talk about today. Because it started when I made a very important decision when I was 48. I have a free gift that I've made just for you. It's called The 5 Layers to Shed, Find Yourself Again. Often in this society, women as they age start to feel disconnected, lost, concerned about the whole process, and in fear about aging. It's really a scary thing. But I'm here to tell you that if you're feeling those things, you're not broken. Something's not wrong with you. In fact, congratulations, because you're waking up. And if you're waking up, that means it's time for you to start shedding the layers of what has been covering who you really are. So that is why I created this guide, because I want to help you with this process of reclaiming who you really are, reclaiming your authenticity and your power. So all you have to do is click the link in the description. It'll take you to a place where all I need is your first name and email, and I'll send it to you. And I'll also send you a link to a private video that I've made that's talking about this subject. I hope you take advantage of this, and I hope that it is helpful for you in your journey. At that time in my life, I was divorced. I had been married twice in my 30s. Twice married, twice divorced. Didn't work out. I was also in between careers, and I'd always been an entrepreneur, and then I worked for a natural remedy company in the field of bioenergetic medicine, really fascinating work. And all those, you know, I wasn't doing any of that anymore. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to be doing. I'm 48. Things were changing. My body was changing. I felt very alone. I had no idea what was going on. My emotions were just topsy-turvy. I was just going through a lot. And unfortunately, then there weren't any books about it. Nowadays, I kind of keep abreast of what's going on and what's available to younger women. And there are so many books out there by amazing female doctors that really go into the process and explain what's happening in our bodies and how that affects us emotionally and psychologically as we go through menopause, or actually perimenopause, and preparing up to the day of menopause when your menses stops for the very first time. Anyway, so there's fantastic things available now in that range. Weren't available back when I was going through it. So I had to stumble along. So when I was about 48, I was feeling really lost and really afraid of this whole aging process. This was, I don't know, it was just a really scary time. I didn't know what to do with myself, and I couldn't envision anything for the future. I felt like my glass was half full and draining quickly. It was just intolerable. So I had to do something. So I decided I was going to create my bucket list. A bucket list of what in the past had I wish I had done. And one of the things on it, you're going to laugh at this. I'm not recommending it, but this is what I did. One of the things on my bucket list was that I wanted to invent a ski bum. Now, I grew up skiing. My father and mother started, my brother and I, we were really little. I was about like 5, 6 years old. I was tiny. So I'm a very good skier nowadays, but I didn't have the nerve. When I was in college, I started my first business, and that's all I did through my 30s, my 20s, and my 30s, and into my 40s, is I just worked on my business. I worked all the time. I was a workaholic. I didn't know anything. I didn't go out and have fun and do any of that crazy fun stuff that you're supposed to do when you're younger. I was so dang serious. So I thought, okay, well, nothing seems to be happening in my outer world, so I might as well do something like fun for myself. So I thought, well, okay, I'm going to become a ski patroller. My dad was a ski patroller, and he did it for like 40, 50 years, so I grew up around that. I thought that would be really cool. It'd give my skiing like a purpose. So I went and I took all the medical class that you have to take to become a ski patroller. It's called OEC, and it's kind of like a basic paramedic degree. Well, this was the first obstacle because I didn't think I had capacity to learn anymore. I kind of felt hard-baked. At 48, I felt like, oh my gosh, I am like too old. I laugh at it now, 65. I laugh at feeling too old at 48. But I didn't think my mind worked anymore. I had menopause brain. I can't even learn anything new, but I'm going to try it. But it's going to be so embarrassing because I've lost my capacity to learn. But I took the course, and my life was really simple back then, so I could really focus on it, and I excelled at it, and I did great. So that was my first win. It's like I learned something new. I went back to school. And I learned something new. Oh my gosh, I was so proud of myself. Then, oh my gosh, so this was the even bigger challenge. So I went from a big challenge to a bigger one. I decided to train on a mountain in the Sierras, big Sierra Mountains, on a patrol that I had no idea at the time, but it was one of the hardest patrols of all the Sierras. They trained their basic candidates at a senior level. If you don't know the details of that, you can just suffice it that it was just very advanced. And back then I was about 119 pounds soaking wet. I was not physically that vibrant, but I did it. I did it with just, I'm going to make this happen. Well, I was failing at it. I was failing miserably. This whole toboggan thing, you have to take somebody that's injured down the mountain in a toboggan. The toboggan itself probably weighs 60, 70 pounds, and then you put a big old adult in it, and it wants to go just straight downhill and fast. Man, every weekend I went up to train, I thought, surely this is the weekend I'm going to die. I'm just gonna die. I had that level of terror with it because that toboggan was just pushing me straight down the mountain and fast, and I didn't know how to control it. I didn't know how to turn it. I didn't know how to stop the stupid thing. It was just... And everybody, you know what? Everybody thought I was gonna fail. And to me, that was just not gonna happen. There's a part of me that just rose up and just said, no, I'm not going to fail. That this is like my lifeline to my future, to what's going to happen to me as I get older. If I fail at this, then I have nothing to stand on as I age. And to me, that was more terrifying than the stinking mountain and the toboggans. So I tried, and I went up there in extra days and extra time, and I asked for extra help. And you know what? One day, boom, it just clicked. I figured it out. It was like riding a bike. I figured out how to control this ding-dang thing. Well, you know what happened at the end? Guess who graduated as the candidate of the year, the top of her class? I kid you not. 48-year-old me with the candidate class of all men and young men. Very robust, fabulous skier, young men. And I excelled. I did it. Oh my God, I'm so proud of that accomplishment. Now, I only ski patrol for about 5 years because I had some serious back issues and had to deal with that. But really, it wasn't about the ski patrol thing. It was really about setting a challenge up that expanded me, that pushed my limits of who I thought I was and what I could accomplish. So this is my invitation to you. As you are coming into perimenopause, or if you are going through right in the process right now or out on the other side, is to challenge yourself with something. I mean, don't go out and do something, You just have to be really crazy or dangerous, kind of like what I did. Doesn't have to be that crazy. So challenge yourself to do something out of the box, something that was really in a bigger box of you. Maybe when you were younger that you always wished. Maybe it's taking up a new hobby. Maybe it's playing music. And you always felt this love for music and being a musician, but you were too busy, going to school, and too busy having a family or a career and all this outward stuff, and you never did it. But now you're like, I couldn't possibly do it now. I can't learn new things. I'm too baked in my ways to change. Well, that's baloney. Because you know what? I'm changing all the time. At 65, I'm changing all the time. Look I'm making this stinking video. I got this YouTube channel. Who would ever thunk that I would have mustered up the nerve to put myself out there and to really honor my wisdom and bring a message to the world? Well, I'm doing it. You can do it too. If you want to come into your elder years and still feel vibrant, still feel connected, still have a purpose, then you know what? You need to start breaking the mold now. Start breaking that mold, and that mold is not the mold of who you really are. It's the mold of these self-imposed limitations of what the world is saying your value is, your worth is, and your abilities. So you've never done it before, but you always wish to. Well, by God, just do it. Find a way to express and do it. Let's say you've always wanted to be a dancer. Great, I love that. I always wanted to be a dancer too. I think that would be so incredible. Well, at this age, I'm not going to be what my mind can picture me doing, but there are things I could do. There's so many classes out there and things available with dancing for any age. Go take some classes, meet new friends, have fun doing it. Write a book. You always wanted to write a book. Let me tell you, you can write a book. Have no training, so what? Less rules that you have to know to break. It's my rebel philosophy. The less rules I know, the better, because I would just break them anyways. So there's so much available to you. The list goes on and on. Take a cooking class. Refine the art of preparing and presenting food. As you age, this is your time. It's a beautiful time of life. Take advantage of it. Explore your new capabilities, because they are there. They've just changed from when you were younger. Remember the video I did just before that when we talk about our energy shifting from being out there to being in here, tapping into this new source of power as opposed to trying to force our way? Well, let that power flow. Let it flow into something you've always wanted to do. And let me tell you, that starts filling the glass up of you, the glass up of who you really are. Who you are is an amazing individual that is truly loved beyond all measure and has all kinds of capacities and capabilities even now. As I say, even now, especially now as you're aging. This is the time. If not now, when? And if not you, who? Right? That's what it boils down to. So go seize the day of being you. Do something for yourself. Take a chance, put yourself out there, and then see what happens.